In this module, we are going to talk about another function called lookup function. Now, this is also similar like VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP. Basic idea is to search a record, but the constraints in your VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP was that in VLOOKUP, in your table array which you are using, right, the data should be always be looked up in the first column. In case of HLOOKUP, the data should be present in the first row. So if you have chosen this as your table array, then you need to search for the record in this column, not in other columns. Similarly, if you have this VLOOKUP and you have chosen this to be a, your table array, then the data should be searched in the leftmost column. But in lookup, we don't need to follow that because we will be searching and finding into independent ranges rather than the entire table. So that is why lookup will have three parameters. One is called as the lookup value, which is the value which you are looking for. In this case, we have taken extension number as my lookup value, which is not the leftmost or the first row or the leftmost column. It can be any column we can pick up. And the result vector is the vector from where you will actually pick up the value. So extension number is the number which I will find the value. So for example, if I'm looking for an extension number like I've created a list here, so you'll get the list. Suppose I'm looking for extension number 47318 or 47310, and I want the employee ID last name of that person who has that extension, and this is supposed to be unique. Now I want to get the employee ID, right? Now if I get the employee ID, last name, first name, and the department name and email, then I get the value. Okay, so how do I get that? So to do that, I have the extension. So the extension has this vector, and for employee ID, this is the vector. So I don't need to select the entire table. If I select these two ranges, it will work. For lookup vector, I will select this, and for result vector, I'll select this. That is it. So let's see. So in the employee ID, I'll say is equal to lookup. Lookup value is this. So I'll use function F4 and I'll fix that. Lookup vector is this. Against that also fixed. So I'll say function F4 and function F4, because every time I'll be looking up here. And the result vector is this employee ID. So how will it work? It will work by looking for this 4730 in this vector first. So it finds 47301 here. So in which row it found? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th row. It will jump to the employee ID, this vector, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, and get this value. So in this way, it will work between these two vectors. So if I am correct, I'll get the value. So the value is 17890. So 47310 is employee ID is 17890. That's correct, right? Similarly, for last name, I'll do the same thing. So if I drag, it won't work because the result vector is different in different places. So let me put it again, is equal to, that's the problem with the lookup function, because it doesn't have the column number or the row number. You have to every time change the result vector, right? So lookup value is this. Lookup vector is again this. So that I can, so what I do is if I first drag it, whatever comes, I'll just change that later. I'll just drag this. So in giving me wrong results, no problem. So these two are fixed, so fine. So this only needs to be changed. So I change this to last name to this one and say enter. So this is Lieberman. So last name is Lieberman. That's fine. And here first name, I'll change this to the other result vector. That's my first name vector. And say enter. So that's my Dave, which is Dave. That's correct. So here I'll change that to result vector is department. So this is the result vector. And for email, I'll select this. and that's my email vector. That's my result vector, right? And then enter. So I get the correct email and all the records. So if I change this to something else, 47318, okay? 47318, 19908. Okay, I'm not getting the correct result now. The problem with that is that to get the correct result, the extension number should be sorted. In this case, the extension number is not sorted. So please sort it. That's one of the other problem that it has to be sorted. So I'll just go to sort by extension, okay? Smallest to largest, whatever, and say okay. So now you'll get the correct result. 47318, employee ID is 19908. Hing, Ellen, training end. If I change this to 47320, 47320, then I'm getting this. So this way, lookup function works, where it works in two different vectors. Neither it will not take the table array. So it doesn't take table array, it doesn't take row, column, index and row number.